So my name's Terry, originally from the United States, but I've been living in Asia for over 30 years now. Um, Longest in Beijing, in China. I teach law there at university, and just been very involved in different sorts of spaces to promote intercultural communication, cross-national education, all these fields. So World Religion Day began around 1950 or so. The Baha'i community in the United States started this in order to celebrate our common spiritual heritage. In the Baha'i tradition, the belief is that all of the religions come from the same source. And I sometimes think of, there's this Buddhist story actually of the blind man and the elephant. And each of the blind men touches one part of the elephant. One touches the ear. It says an elephant is like a fan. And another person touches the trunk. He says, no, 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 elephant is like a sword. Another touches the leg. It says, no, the elephant's like a tree. And of course, each one of them had part of the picture. But of course, the elephant is something much more than any of those. And so the Baha'i perspective on religion is all of the religions present facets of ultimately an infinite, unknowable, divine truth. What the Baha'i community wanted to do was to create a space where people from different religions can come together in harmony and joy and celebrate all of these different facets of the truth and learn from each other. And so today, it was really wonderful to have your contribution and those of some of the other friends that I personally had never experienced before. And so, oh, yeah, this is another dimension of our spirituality, because the nature of the physical universe is an expression of spiritual reality. And so the nature of music, the nature of color, the nature of the quantum world, all of these things, actually, if we look at them from a spiritual perspective, they teach us something about who we are. And so, yeah, so this was just an opportunity to advance a little bit our own learning and our own joy. Bring joy to the world. The world needs more joy. There's not enough joy in the world today. So, yeah.
But what is your story? When did you connect with spirituality? Was there a special moment in your life?
When I was probably a teenager, I had a couple of experiences where I just felt there's something more than meets the eye, right? That there's some kind of an essence. And so at that time, my family background was Christian. I wasn't particularly, involved in the church or any of that. But I had this belief there's an essence to the universe, and that we should try to become aligned with it. And so my father then passed away when I was young, when I was 18, when I was in college. And then that made me really reflect on this world, dying, what happens, does anything happen? But even after my father passed away, I always felt he was close. So I always felt there must be something, but, didn't know what. And so then shortly thereafter, I had an opportunity to go live in Japan for a year. Was a volunteer English teacher, spent some time working with local potters, studying Japanese pottery. Wonderful experience for like a 19-year-old kid who'd never lived anywhere outside of America. But I quickly came to the conclusion, people are the same everywhere. Okay, cultures are very different. People are the same. They're happy, they laugh. They're sad, they cry. There are good people everywhere, not so good people everywhere. And so I later on then encountered the Baha'i teachings. There was a family that lived in the same town, and they were Baha'is. They introduced me to it. And I liked the concepts of the oneness of religion, that there's one divine creator, we're one human family. And so then I started reading about it. and it very much confirmed what I already believed. But one of the things in particular that really struck me was in this book, uh, there is a quotation from Baha'u'llah where he describes God as the unknowable essence. And I remember reading that. He says, God, the unknowable essence. I'm like, oh, all this time, when people talk about God and I have no idea what they're talking about, they're talking about this essence that I've always felt there's. So, okay, yeah, of course but there's so much baggage, right? In English, at least associated with the word God that you think, was it, some old man, or is it this, or is it that? It's, oh, okay, that's all it is. He's talking about it. And so then the more I studied, I realized that to become aligned with this essence, then there are certain disciplines that help us in that way. So prayer, meditation, fasting, service to humanity, even like learning itself is part of this process, because God created the universe. It's our laboratory, it's our workshop, it's our classroom. And so the more we experience, the more diverse people we interact with, the more we benefit and the more we can contribute. So that was a major turning point in my life. And it really gave me a sense of clarity. And also because it happened in Japan, I said, well, this is my true home. My spiritual birthplace is in Asia. And so I knew at that point, actually, that most of my life, uh, I would be in this part of the world. And yeah, I'm very grateful that it's worked out that way.
So what can people do who can connect with Baha'i? What should they do if they want to learn more about it?
There are Baha'i communities virtually everywhere in the world. And, like me, I hadn't heard of it when I was in the US. I went to Japan for a year. I went back. I found out at my university there was a Baha'i community there the whole time. They said, you didn't have to go all the way to Japan. I said, well, it seems I did. There must have been a wisdom in that. But no, I think the easiest way actually is thanks to the internet. There's a very good website. It's just Bahai, BAHAI.org. Bahai.org has all of the Baha'i sacred scriptures in English, but also in different countries. You can usually find a national website, and then they'll have in different languages. So that's a good way to find information. But then, you can connect with a local community and meet people and have conversations. And, there are different spaces for study, for service projects, for prayer, for like World Religion Day. So probably pretty much anywhere in the world you can find a Baha'i community. It may be small, but but you can find one. The Baha'i belief is that Baha'u'llah, who lived about 100 years ago, was one of these divine educators who come periodically throughout human history, and he provided this wisdom for all humanity. Now, there's some people like me who say, this, I want to dedicate my life to this. You can become a official, formal, registered member of the Baha'i community. As a registered member, you can contribute to the Baha'i Fund. But actually, somebody who's not registered cannot contribute to the Baha'i Fund, and is specifically to make sure that money doesn't become mixed up with religion. So there's certain things that if you're a registered member, you have we see it as a privilege. But other than that, everything is open. Anyone who wants to come, wants to learn, wants to explore. Maybe you read some things, say, "Oh yes, I agree with this. This is helpful. This maybe not so much. That's fine." And the Baha'i communities are striving to help build communities that are inclusive, that are embracing, and provide a haven in a modern world which has many negative forces, many distractions. And Baha'i is also very encouraged to cooperate and work together with other like-minded organizations, religious organizations, other people of goodwill who want to contribute to the betterment of their community, their world. Yeah. So all welcome.